In order to construct a histogram, I first need to enter my data list in the list L1. Here I have the list of all pulse rates for the females in L1. In order to begin doing the histogram, I'm going to press second and mode for quit. Now I'm going to go into stat plot. Press second and Y equal. Notice here I can create as many as 3 stat plots at one time. I'm going to select stat plot number 1, press enter. I'm going to turn it on, so highlight the on and press enter. I want a histogram, which is the third image, so arrow over there to the image of the histogram, press enter. And then in this case I want to use my list in L1. If L1 was not already here, I could simply press second and then 1 for L1. Now that I've set up my histogram by definition, I'm going to press second and mode to quit. And now I'm going to press zoom, and I'm going to arrow down to zoom stat. Select zoom stat, press enter, and it's going to create a histogram for me. If I press the trace key, I will see that the first bar begins at 60 and then ends at 70 2/3. In that class, there were 12 observed values from my list of the female pulse rates. If I arrow 1 to the right, I'll notice that the next class begins at 70 2/3 and ends at 81 1/3. And there are 20 pulse rates observed in that class. Since I do not want the classes to end in such messy numbers, I can select window, and here the X min will be the first boundary, and then the X scale is the width. And so here I see the width of 10 2/3, and that's why the numbers appeared as they did. I'm going to arrow down and choose an X scale that's a little bit nicer, such as 10, and then I'm going to press the graph key. Do not go back to zoom stat, or it will give you the same image it gave you before. Now the graph appears a little different, and if I press the trace key, you'll notice now that the first class is between 60 and 70. 60 is included, 70 is not, it's strictly less than. I can arrow to the right, the next class is 70 to 80, 80 to 90, and in this manner I can see what all the classes are and the number of observations, the frequency at which we observed pulse rates of the females in that class.